Live sports returned to the Bluegrass last night in the form of a Louisville City FC soccer match. Even though the home team didn't win, the game itself wasn't necessarily the biggest story. It's the fact that the team welcomed more than 4,800 socially distanced fans into its brand new $65 million stadium for a debut game. Meanwhile, protesters seeking justice for Breonna Taylor were also on hand. Keith, if we find out in a couple weeks that there isn't really anything linked to that game in particular, that may bode well for college football.
It very well could for a lot of different sports. You're right. And the thing is, if this wasn't a pandemic year, that place would have been jam-packed. As it looked, it didn't look like there were that many people there, but they had 4,800. So that's going to be a telling sign in the next couple of weeks.
Yep, and I know Louisville was excited for it. All right, Yusuf Corker has spent the offseason building muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles. Social media pics reveal a Hulk-like growth spurt for the UK free safety. Keith, he and I spent our quarantines very differently.
I gave him all those tips, and so he's definitely come out looking like me. And I know if I'm a wide receiver, I'm not going across the middle with a chance that guy hitting me.
No, you don't want Yusuf Corker hitting you. No, but good job on the tips, Keith. I think you really knocked it out of the park with him.
Yusuf's welcome.
Yeah, the University of Kentucky has announced it will cap tuition and mandatory fees for all full-time undergraduate students, regardless of how many in-class or online classes a student takes this fall. School officials estimate the change will cost the university about $5 million in lost tuition revenue. The university will evaluate whether to continue capping tuition for the spring 2021 semester. And Keith, you almost have to, because there's so much that's a part of college life and what you pay for that you will not be getting this semester. You just won't. Right.
I think it's a good faith gesture here on the university, to try and help out and say, okay, yeah, you're right. You have some things that you're not going to be able to take advantage of. So I like what the university is doing here because they are going to take a big hit.
Yep. Right. A new study says Kentucky is the most connected state on social media. Teneo surveyed hundreds of users and determined the average number of friends, followers, and connections on 6 leading social media sites. Tennessee came in at number 2 on the survey, and Indiana rounded out the top 5. Keith, does this surprise you that we're the most socially connected state?
We are Insta influencers. Yeah, it does. I would think California, for some reason, I don't know why, I would think California would be the place. Maybe
I think
New York,
they're number
I don't
3.
know. So yeah, I'm a little surprised.
California is number 3, right behind Kentucky and Tennessee.
I'll take that.
Yeah, we're cutting edge. All right, the wrap up is next as Hey Kentucky continues.